Hey everybody, welcome to Storm Talk. Way through News meteorologist Brian Good. Once again, storms not really the topic for today. In fact, quiet weather today. No outlook for tomorrow, and no outlook as we head into Thursday. So we do have this front moving in, and you see they do put a marginal risk. But keep in mind, it's an area of low pressure that's going to develop along this front, and that low is going to track into the lower portion here of Michigan, into maybe even the UP of Michigan. So the best dynamics with this front is going to be north of us. All we're going to get is the much weaker version of that, and I'll show you that here in just a second. First off, our visible satellite from space once again picked up on some of that valley fog along the rivers in East Kentucky. We even saw a little bit of that on the Salt River and the Ohio again today. Some of these high clouds may drift over Paoli, Salem, I would say just after lunch today, but that's about it. Most of us will see nothing but a blue sky. 64 degrees. We were 61 at this time yesterday, so we're running about 3 degrees or so above from yesterday, and that's the reason why I think today will be likely into the 80s for afternoon highs. Now, as we head into Wednesday, I think we'll climb into the lower, if not middle 80s. I think 86 will probably be a little common number thread for downtown outlying areas. These numbers probably will be a little more realistic for you. As we into Thursday, just a degree or two warmer, maybe. But I think overall, looking at the atmosphere, there's not a lot of difference that I can find between Wednesday and Thursday. So that's why, if you pay attention to our 7-day outlook, I've kept them about the same number, 86 on both days. There's just not a lot of change, maybe 1 degree, if that, between the 2 days. I do see a difference, though, as we into Friday. That'll be enough to push us closer to 90, and that's why Friday looks to be the warmer day. But then after that, we've got to watch this front that's going to move in. This is a look at your moisture map, therefore any chance to get any type of rain to fall out of the front. And you can see on Friday where the moisture is found to our north and west. As the front begins to finally push in here as we head into Saturday, see how the moisture field, again, very weak overall on it. And then as we into Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, that's about the time the front bears down on wave country. And there is some moisture, so we've got to keep that rain chance in, given the fact we're still seeing a narrow band, a little ribbon, if you will, of moisture that could produce a few scattered showers around, maybe a rumble of thunder. But as I mentioned before, the dynamics for anything severe is going to be well to our north and east. So hopefully, with all the events going on, we've got several football games. We've got the Heart Walk going on. Hopefully we can avoid anything that's going to be overly heavy or long lasting. But keep in mind that rain chance is small, but it is there. The good news about that is that this front should allow us to drop. It's looking more and more progressive compared to past couple days to get it down to Tennessee. There is a low that may try to form the tail end of that may try to work its way in early next week. Kind of iffy because it all depends where the front stops. If the front stops in here, and if we get that low developing, then anything that develops would stay to our south. If the front were to happen to stall, say the new data tomorrow says the front's going to stall over us, well then not only would we have to add a rain chance in for Sunday, but we would have a rain chance that would carry us into Monday and Tuesday of next week too, because that low, the new low, would then right along that. So not ruling that out completely. I'm just saying that right now the idea of it being more progressive is a little more support today than yesterday, and we'll see how it looks tomorrow. So as we always do, 1 day at a time. Alright, so let's look at the longer term for the rest of the month here. I'm going to show you the European model, blues being the cooler weather, the yellows and orange being warmer weather moving through. Alright, so here comes the front as it moves in. You see as we head into Saturday, temperature still into the 80s I think on Saturday, and then as the front pushes on by, the European is indicating a pretty cool pattern. Lots of 70s, even some 60s in a few areas, but pretty cool compared to normal all the way through about the 25th, if not longer, of September with all the warmth to our west. That's the European. Here's the GFS. Again, the front moves in on Saturday. Very similar there. It's got a warm surge ahead of the front, still in the 80s on Saturday. But it does give us a little glance of cooler weather behind the front. Nothing as extreme as 0, but then it says out of here as it tries to warm us up again by the 25th of September. So at this point, the two models do not agree on how next week is really going to play out after this front for the weekend moves on. So we're getting some support either way, but when you get this kind of a split flow, you really got to be careful getting too specific. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on the trends on that. I did want to share, though, the GMA, the Japanese model, updates their data, and the way they do their maps, they look from the northern hemisphere like they're looking directly over the North Pole straight down, so it's a little distorted. So let me point out what you're about to see. First off, ignore this side here because this is not important. I know it's really hard to see, but here is the United States. I'll draw it. There's California. There's Mexico. And actually, let me change my wand so you guys can see that better. Let's see. What color should I use? How about I use a blue color? No offense, Carbs fans. I'm not trying to be picky. All right, so here is the outline of the United States. There's Central America. There's Florida and New York, and then All right, so there's the United States. Same thing on this map. Right in through here. Mexico, Florida, blah, blah, blah. All right. In this case, what you're looking at is that for the month of October, it's indicating the better chance for warmth is going to be across the central and western United States. Not exactly cooler than normal over the east, but not warm either. And same setup here. It's kind of two different ways of looking at it, but kind of a similar setup for October. It's showing at least average, I would say, temperature-wise, based on this outlook from the Japanese model. Now for November, kind of a different scenario. For November, it is showing a lot of warmth over a good chunk of the northern half of the country, and you can see it a little better here. A good chunk of the northern half, cooler across the tropics, and that may be because tropical activity may increase in October, November in the Gulf and into Central America. That is still a possibility, but it's saying that the heights in general and warmer temperatures will be up to the north. And we did see this off and on last year in the fall. Yeah, we had October was pretty quiet until Halloween, and we got a trace of snow. November, we had a rare, measurable snow, about 3 inches, that took place in late November. So we could see some anomalies that could stand out like that, but overall, they were warmer months. And I like the next couple of maps here. This is from the Weather Network, which is the Canadian version of the Weather Channel. And their outlook for, it says December, but really when you look at November, December, it's the same thing as what the Japanese is kind of saying. Warmer than average heights over the northern part of the country, which we saw that last year in December. And then once you get into the core of winter, that is when the dip took place, and it was cold and snowy. This is not our forecast. Again, this is the Weather Network. I'm just kind of just sharing maps with you. But you see what's happening. It's a repeating pattern of the past 2 winters. We'll see if we see signs of that happening for the fall leading into the winter this year. Still putting together my winter thoughts. I'm not ready yet. Again, it's going to be Halloween before I'm ready to issue them. But there's so many factors in this. But as far as getting us through the rest of this month, we already have challenges for September. You saw that. One saying cooler, one saying warmer for the second half here of September. So we got to get that nailed down, and then we'll take a stab at October. But at this point, if I had to guess, I would say that based on some of the data, I think October is probably going to be either average or at times slightly above average on temperature. So we shall see. All right, that's all the little goodies I have for you today. I'll see you guys on the midday show coming up, and of course tomorrow morning bright and early on sunrise.